Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and we're starting our weekly webinar, mapping out your week ahead. For new people, just explaining the title. What we do here is trying to simply create a plan for the week. And as I like to quote traders, when they say you plan your trade, then you trade your plan. And that's what we're trying to do every week here at our weekly webinars. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade, and I've been involved in trading over 24 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City. I did it for about 11 years, and then I moved, as I like to call it, to a less stressful environment. And I continued trading, of course, and since then I started to mentor and educate others, and I'm very happy I have this great opportunity to be assisting our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, as usual, we speak about indices, stocks, commodities, forex. We combine some fundamentals with technicals. We'll take a look at economic calendar. Also, if it's an earnings season, we'll speak about some earnings. We'll have a few companies that we'll mention today. And we're just trying to see, what happened the past week, how the market acted, and what could be potential continuation for the upcoming week. Risk warning, you can find the full statement at avatrade.com website. And of course, what we do here is purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, please feel free to subscribe and follow us on Telegram, X, and YouTube. As I like to say, it's my favorite. You can find a lot of information there. So please subscribe, click likes if you like what you're watching, share with people that you care about, and click on the bell so you'll be notified. Also, the webinars, together with other important and useful information, we have webinars being recorded and posted, so you might be watching this webinar on YouTube. If you do, again, and if you do like it, please don't hesitate to click on that like so more people can access it. Okay, so we'll start with fundamental big news. And I mean, if you have any source of news, you probably didn't miss this big event that happened on Friday. There was a meeting in the Oval Office between the president of US and Ukrainian President Zelensky. There were a lot of representatives of media there, so the whole world speaks about it. I'm not gonna share with you my opinion about it. It's very controversial. So, but it did react, or it did affect the market. So after the results of the meeting, as we know, it didn't go so well. So the market reacted to the downside. And then towards the end of the session, market actually ran up. We had a big move. S&P closed Friday up 1.6%, Nasdaq the same 1.6%, and Dow Jones went up 1.4%. We're talking about the cash indices. So S&P had the best day in the past 6 weeks. So that's also important to take that into consideration and see how we start the new week. Will this boost of energy, let's call it that way, continue into the new week, or will we continue sliding lower? And that's very, very important. Now, on the negative side, there are a few things. You can find these articles, by the way, at marketwatch.com. So it says right here, titled Jeremy Grantham on the meltdown coming to your stocks and where he's putting his money now. And it says right here, the legendary investor Jeremy Grantham, who has accurately predicted past financial crises and market tops, said the US stock market is now in a super bubble territory. And they quote him, I've always looked at it from the point of view that the longer and the bigger and the higher it goes, the more exciting and dangerous it will be. And this was moved up the rank of super bubbles. Grantham, who's co-founder, investment manager, management firm GMO. Okay, so as always, you have two opinions. One, as you could see, the market ran in some excitement to the upside. And of course, we have people that think the market should be going lower. Now, on the Fed side, right here, we have Fed Schmidt warns against the rate cut in response to weaker outlook. And it says right here, easing policy before inflation is beat can make it more painful to wangish. Okay, so that's something to take into consideration. By the way, this is it right here. The next Fed's meeting on 19th of March. It's about 17 days from today. And as of now, this is a small probability of the interest rate cut. But still, they say that the two interest cuts till the end of the year are priced in. So let's see how things are playing out. So 7% probability as of now with the interest rate cut. Now, also we had some numbers came before the meeting of Trump and Zelensky, or around that time, and this is the number of the personal consumption expenditure, the PCE number. The Feds are really watching closely. So it came up at 2.5%. It was kind of in line with the prediction, and what negative part of the report was the consumer spending slowed 0.2%. And what it says here, one of the reports that I pulled, it says the personal savings rate rose to 4.6%, to 4.6% from 3.5% in December. But it looks like the consumers are a little bit cautious with this new policies and tariffs and everything else, and they're really storing the cash. They're not really spending much, and that's kind of a warning sign. And also, some analysts says that they're worried about the stagflation. It's a hard word to pronounce, stagflation, when the slowing growth is kind of combined with the high inflation. So these are the things that I guess we'll hear more in the upcoming week. So that's a big picture. Again, we had this meeting with Trump and Zelensky. We had some economic data, and market went down and then ran into the closing. So a high close on Friday, it could mean continuation on Monday, but it could also show us the opposite picture as we come into the Monday's trading. So we'll find out. Now, economic calendar. Of course, the highlight of the week will be NFPs on Friday. Well, let's go through the whole thing. Before that, just want to mention what this is for new people, especially. This is public information called economic calendar. You can access it through our web trader or the app. Also, you can just Google it. There are a lot of sources that showing the same information. As I said, it is totally public and everybody can access it. So it's important to know it if you're a trader about these events. It's good to know in advance so you won't be caught in the position that you wouldn't be holding had you known it. So it's important, again, to be aware of it. What I do here, I take the high impact events only, as you could see everything in red. So let's just go through them really quick. PMI manufacturing numbers from China on Monday. We have CPI numbers from European Union, manufacturing PMI from US. Then Tuesday we have Bank of Australia meeting minutes and retail sales from Australia right here. Wednesday, we have GDP numbers from Australia. This thing is important. Bank of Japan Governor Ueda speaks. As we know, we've been talking about situation with inflation and the economy there and the Japanese yen. We know that Bank of Japan took some measures. They did increase some interest rate, and there's more space to do it. So I guess each speech of the governor of Bank of Japan is important. We might see some moves in Japanese yen. PMI numbers from China, CPI numbers from Switzerland, ADP employment numbers from US. That's kind of an idea of what we might see with NFPs. Service PMI from US, that's on Wednesday. Thursday, we have trade balance from Australia, retail sales from European Union, and we have the decision, the interest rate decision from ECB, followed by press conference, and then we come to Friday, the highlight of the week. Pretty much, we have GDP numbers from European Union, we have employment numbers from Canada, and this is one of the most important numbers of the month. The NFP numbers will show how many jobs were added, the unemployment rate, and other employment-related numbers, which are important for the Feds in their decision as the two major things they're watching, the inflation and employment, and of course, the state of economy as well, as we mentioned a few times. Okay, so 10-year yields this week, they actually went down, and it's very unusual effect. Usually when the yields going down, that would push the US dollar lower and give a little bit of a boost to gold, and the opposite happened towards the end of the week. The only effect that the usual effect it had, actually the market closed on Friday higher on this drop on the yields as well. So we are, you remember last week we mentioned this 4.4 support. We did break through it and we continue lower. Next support is around 412, and let's see if that's where we had it or not. Okay, as usually, we have the winners and the losers for the week. So you could see a lot of red for this week in commodity markets. We'll take a look at each individual commodity when we get to the charts. So we have palladium down more than 8%, wheat, the same thing, sugar down more than 7%, corn, the same, silver almost 5% lower, platinum 4% lower, coffee almost 4% lower, soybeans 3%, and gold almost 3% lower for the week. Now in the FX, we have a few winners. We have dollar CAD up 1.71, dollar yen almost 1%, dollar Swiss 0.63, and we have big losers here from New Zealand and Australia. And the Bitcoin for the week was down 11.67%. So we'll take a look at these assets when we get to the charts. Now, earnings, we still continue earnings. As we mentioned, that the consumer spending is really slowing. And there was actually some warnings from some retailers, including Walmart. And they actually posted some cautious guidance for the year. So it looks like it's across the board. There's some issue with consumer spending, which is very important for economy. So not a coincidence, I guess. We have some retailers reporting this week. On Tuesday, we have Target and Best Buy. On Thursday, we have Macy's, Kroger, Costco, and Gap. We'll also take a look at these stocks when we get to the charts. And we are getting to the charts. So here we go. We start with indices as usual. We start with China. Let's see here. China index, after you can say a double bottom here, holding the 200 moving average. We had a little bit of a boost to the upside above 50, and we're kind of hugging the 100 moving average here on the Chinese index. Now, Japanese Nikkei has been selling, testing the previous support here, and on Friday, towards the end, we had a little bit of recovery here. So this week, we have the speech of the governor of Bank of Japan. Definitely we'll see some moves in Japanese yen, and of course in the Japanese index will be affected as well. Now, US indices, as we said, Friday, we had a nice recovery, and it actually happened towards the end of the week, at the end of the, definitely week, but the day. You see, the move down happened, I guess the analysts connected with some fiasco at the meeting of Trump and Zelensky, and then the last 2 hours of the market, we had a nice move to the upside. So we didn't erase the Thursday's loss, but we did have a significant move across the board. So that's S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones. So we'll be watching, of course, the beginning of the week if this boost of Friday closing will continue, or should we see continuation to the downside. Now, German index, it's holding kind of in the middle of this 3-day sell-off. Just mark it so it will be easy to understand. So after hitting the high, we sold the 3 consecutive days, and now we're playing to the upside. We are right in the middle of this range. Now, guess what? The UK FTSE is all-time high on Friday. Very interesting. The last 4 hours of trading, it was super strong and took the index to the all-time highs. So that's as far as indices. Again, it was a strong closing on Friday. Sometimes it means a strong opening on Monday, but nothing is for granted. So we'll find out, I guess, when the market opens. So that's as far as indices. Moving to individual stocks. Of course, NVIDIA was the big news for the week. Everybody was really waiting for those reports on earnings, and they did come very strong, stronger than expected as usual. And it's not the first time where the investors were not too happy, I guess. So I was watching the news. It happened, I think, Wednesday night. It gapped up, then it went down, and the following day on Thursday, it was a gap and continuation to the downside. We closed on Thursday on NVIDIA at the lows at 120.49. Then Friday came, it was a gap down, and then when the market ran, everything ran with it, including NVIDIA. So I guess we'll see how this week will play for NVIDIA. Now, one of the stocks that is continue going higher no matter what is AT&T. I think we mentioned it last week as well. It just keeps on running. Here you go, vertical. And the CEO of the company says that this is just the beginning. And I quote him, right? So they are heavily involved in the fiber optics, other things, and it looks like the stock is vertical going higher. But let's take a look at the big names, what they did this past week. Netflix, after breaking this previous support, we are not really falling from here, so we're holding up nicely. Meta, Thursday was a big sell-off. Friday, a little bit of recovery. Google shows a lot of weakness here. As you could see, it was doing well until it didn't. We came with the gap and continuation, and Friday we had a little bit of recovery, maybe 30-40% of Thursday's loss. Apple, as we said, Apple was strong when the market was falling. It didn't, but then it caught up with the market on Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday, nice recovery in Apple. Tesla, we did hit the 200 moving average here with bounce. It's around 275, and also it correlates with this level here. The low here was 275.46 at the opening of the gap. We are holding that so far around 275, closing at almost 293. Microsoft doesn't look that strong. Let's keep on sliding. Friday reaction happened here. Intel, after that, as we said, rumors that the company is being bought. It was a strong reaction, and then we give away maybe half of that move, and that continues. We're up below the 200 moving average here. So that's on Intel. Now, Teva Pharmaceutical, we spoke about it last week. They did have another approval for another medicine, and it looks like we are holding here this level. So we might see a reaction. Friday, it did react to the upside. We are holding this level from the previous support back in mid-November. Then we tested again on 14th of February. And then it looks like we are so far holding it. So let's see if Teva Pharmaceutical manages to get out of this selling pressure and resume its move to the upside or not. We might even break to the downside and retest the lows. As you could see on the weekly chart, it shows clearly this level has been held very nicely, the current level around 16. So let's see if that continues. That's as far as some individual stocks. Also, let's take a quick look at the companies that are reporting. As we said, we have Tuesday and Thursday. Retailers are reporting. Let's take a quick look at them. So Target reports on Tuesday. Here we go. Target doesn't look so happy here. We're approaching that support from November of last year. Again, they're reporting on Tuesday. Best Buy, I don't know if you're familiar with the store. They sell mostly electronic and home appliances. It is holding nicely here after double bottom here. Friday was a strong day, and they also report on Tuesday. Thursday, we have Macy's, Kroger, Costco, and Gap. Let's take a quick look at those stocks. Here's Macy's. Also, not such a happy camper, but a big sell-off here. And we just made another lower low here after matching the previous high. So they are reporting on Thursday. Again, the next one is Kroger. This one looks pretty good. Been showing some nice strength here. So they also report on Thursday. Costco. On the weekly chart, we had 3 consecutive weeks to the upside, sell-off the week after, and a strong week this previous week, also reporting on Thursday. And the last one is Gap. Gap, a lot of consolidation here. Hard to figure it out. We had a gap down, we didn't close it, and we're consolidating here. So Gap is reporting on Thursday as well. You could see here, this is the weekly chart, pretty much trading the same range. Okay, so that concludes the equity markets. Let's move to commodity, and we have a lot of losers in commodity for the past week. We'll just go through them one by one really quickly. So, palladium. We'll show the weekly chart so you could see the move. Palladium was down 8.07% on the week. We came to the level of support. As you could see here, we could be seeing reversal or continuation. There's always two choices, right? I don't think it ever stays still. Wheat, a big sell-off here. The whole week we went down. We erased the previous 2 weeks of advance. And on the daily chart, we just broke through all major moving averages, 200, 100, and 50. And if we continue, we might come to some kind of support. It could be around here, around 550. And it looks like there's a lot of pressure on wheat. Sugar is next one. Big losing week. We might continue lower, so we'll find support. Same thing will be below all the moving averages here. And we're kind of in the air, so we might continue to find support. Also, as a third consecutive move down, so it could be a 3-bar reversal. We'll find out. Corn is the next one. Same thing, as you could see, heavy selling. The only thing that we came to a level here that was a resistance, then we held it, created support right here. So now we're testing it again around 472. So let's see if this level holds or we continue further down on corn. Next one is silver. Looks like metals didn't have a good week. Silver erased 3 previous days of advanced move. No, I don't think the traders are panicking. We're still above the 50, 100, and 200 moving averages, and we're still in an uptrend on silver here. Platinum is next one. A strong sell-off here. Second consecutive week to the downside. And here, it looks like the previous support is holding. As you could see, the moment we touch it, it was a nice buying power coming in. So that's on platinum, down 4% for the week. It could be that we hit that support from this point here. Back in mid-January, we had a nice run. So that's on platinum. Coffee has been strong, as we spoke a few times about it. And the second consecutive week to the downside. Looks like the profit taking could be in place. It looks like we are holding this current level here. So let's see if this coming week will continue going higher or we break that consolidation here. Soybeans also down 3% for the week. It's a tight range here, as you could see. It didn't really run nicely to the upside. And on a daily chart, we're approaching 100-day moving average here on soybeans. And the last one is gold. Second consecutive day to the downside. The weekly chart is the first week, the downside. It's a strong sell-off here, though, almost 3%. And on the daily chart, we did a break below the initial stop here on February 5th. But this strong move kind of slowed down around here. Then we continued while we came right back, retesting it, and we failed to hold that support. So let's see how this week will play with all the data, all the news, and all the events that we spoke about. So that's gold. And let's take a quick look at oil. I think oil had a nice pop after breaking through 69. Thursday was a strong move to the upside. Friday, we retested that 69 area and recovered. So let's see how oil will play. Now, there's some new developments. It looks like the ceasefire deadline was yesterday between Israel and Hamas. But I think Israel decided to extend it for a few days. They're still trying to negotiate the hostage deal. So let's see what happens. Also, there was some events happening in Syria, so we might see some fresh news about the Middle East. So as usual, that could be affecting the oil price to some extent. Okay, moving to FX. As we said, we had some winners. Dollar CAD had a nice move for the week, 1.71%. And take a look where we stopped, where the initial stop happened here. December 18th, we stopped right at the same spot. Now this spike up was when the tariffs were announced. So if it wasn't for this spot, I think the current level is a key level here. Because the moment we reach it here on December 18th, we had a hard time breaking it until the tariffs. So that's USD CAD, USD JPY, dollar yen. A little bit of recovery here, 2 days to the upside. We have the governor of Bank of Japan speaking this week. We have NFPs, we have a lot of things. So definitely we'll see some moves in this pair and other major currencies. USD Swiss, 3 consecutive days to the upside. We are between 100 and the 200 moving average here. Now on the downside, we had big losers with the NZD and Aussie. Aussie had a big drop. Also, we came to a key level. This was the initial stop here, right? On the same day, 12th of December. So the big question is for Australian dollar, will we break that and continue lower? This was all about tariffs. Similar picture what we saw in USD CAD, right? as we know, the Australian and New Zealand dollar both, they're really closely connected to Chinese economy as they supply a lot of goods to China. So when the tariffs were announced, there was a big reaction to the downside. Of course, strength of a dollar was also in place. So we have NZD, USD. The difference is we actually broke below that December 18th, so it looks a little weaker here. And the question is, definitely we need to observe it. If we continue lower, we might retest the lows. If we bounce right back above and start building support, price action here above 0.59, sorry, 0.56 right here, we might actually bounce back. On Aussie, it looks a little bit stronger, as we said here. It didn't break, or it didn't close at least below that December 18th level. It looks a little bit more hopeful here. So that's Aussie, both of them down 2.5 and 2.4%. Now, let's take a look what Japanese yen is doing against other currencies. As you could see here, Aussie has been selling $18. Well, there was a spike up and down here, right? But overall, Japanese yen is remaining strong. Euro, yen, and NZD is the weak. So it looks like NZD is the weakest. Yen is holding strong. Dollar's been strong. And I guess this week's events, as we said, we have NFPs, we have interest rates from the European Union, we have other events that definitely will be affecting the markets, including the FX market. And for dessert, as usual, let's take a quick look what the cryptos are doing. We did hit the 200 moving average here on Bitcoin. We went as low as 78,140 and recovered the same day. As of now, we're trading close to 86,000. It looks like a nice recovery there. And XRP, it looks like it's holding at $2 rank. Now, speaking of cryptocurrency, something that I wanted to mention, I forgot, a good thing that just triggered my memory. Banks, they had a nice recovery on Friday across the board, but what I was going to mention, Bank of America showed a very strong rebound. Take a look. In one day, we recovered pretty much a week of moving lower. And I tried to see what's happening in Bank of America, and what I found that there was an interview of the CEO of Bank of America. His name is Brian Moynihan. I have a hard time pronouncing names, I apologize. The CEO of Bank of America said that he's really focusing on implementing the cryptocurrencies in their business model. And I think this could be the reason why there was such a strong reaction when the market went higher on Bank of America. So he was actually interviewed at the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. on Tuesday. And he said, I'm going to quote here, "It's pretty clear there's going to be a stable coin." And he explained that stable coins are digital assets backed by the US dollar, likening them to a money market, quote, fund with check access or bank accounts, end of quote. So very interesting. It looks like we're getting banks involved in cryptos, which potentially could be good for cryptocurrency. Okay, that concludes our market review for the week. Please remember about the social media channel. Subscribe, hit that like if you like it, of course. On YouTube, you can write your comments if you'd like, questions, share it with people that might benefit. Subscribe, hit that bell. So put it together. Let's just put it together what we spoke about in a few sentences. So we did have that fiasco in the White House. The whole world speaks about it. Some people are on the side of Trump. Some people protecting Zelensky. By the way, as we speak, today is going to be a meeting of European leaders discussing the plan to protect Ukraine. It looks like Ukraine's getting a lot of backup from Europe, as it looks like the US is not really. Again, I'm going to stay away from my comments and politics, but definitely we'll hear some new developments and new ideas from Europe as far as what's happening with Ukraine. I know that they are preparing a big help package to Ukraine again. We'll see what's new in the Middle East that would be affecting the markets, especially oil prices. We'll have interest rate decision from European Union. We'll have NFP numbers from US on Friday. In between, we have other events that will be affecting markets. I want to wish you a good weekend. We still have Sunday ahead of us. Get some energy, get some rest, prepare yourself for the busy week. And I want to wish everyone a great, successful, and happy week ahead. All the best. Take care.